I finally had the loving family I'd always wanted. I put everything into making our marriage work. We were both fresh out of college with entry-level jobs, but I took on extra projects and weekend work to make sure we could afford a decent apartment in a safe neighborhood. Karen was impressed with how I managed our finances, always making sure we had savings for emergencies, while still having enough for occasional date nights and small luxuries. I remember how proud I felt when I got my first promotion just 8 months into my job. I came home with a bottle of Karen's favorite wine and surprised her with the news. She jumped into my arms, and we spent that evening planning our future. I was working 50 to 60-hour weeks sometimes, but it felt worth it to build a stable foundation for our life together. When Karen mentioned wanting to go back for her master's degree, I fully supported her. We sat down together and worked out a budget that would let her reduce her work hours while taking classes. I picked up even more overtime to compensate for her reduced income. Sometimes I'd bring her coffee and snacks during her late-night study sessions, making sure she knew I had her back. That's what marriage was about, right? Supporting each other's dreams. But things started getting weird when Karen started getting along with my family. We'd been married for almost a year when we planned an extended visit from Thanksgiving to New Year's. I was excited to show my family how well we were doing, how happy I was in my marriage. At first, everything seemed fine. My mom welcomed Karen warmly, and even Brad was being civil, which was a pleasant surprise. I thought maybe time and distance had mellowed him out. The first couple of days were great. We had Thanksgiving dinner, did some Black Friday shopping, and I showed Karen around my hometown. Around the third day, I noticed something small that just seemed off. I was helping my dad in the garage when Karen and Brad came back from a grocery store run my mom had sent them on. They were laughing about something, which itself wasn't weird, but when I walked up and asked what was so funny, they both just said nothing and changed the subject. I let it go. Not a big deal. Karen and Brad were becoming more friendly. A few days later, Karen suggested we all watch a movie together. Brad immediately jumped in with a recommendation, some action film I had zero interest in, and Karen quickly agreed it sounded great. When I suggested